Welcome, Joyce. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And you?
I'm doing great.
Nice to be here.
That's really amazing. No, there's one thing that's interesting about your name.
Okay.
That's difficult for me. Sorry that I just called you Joyce. I didn't mention the surname. Like, what's your surname? Like, what are your full names?
Okay, my name is Joyce Busola Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And someone might be wondering, of course, someone might be familiar with your accent because it's easy to tell when someone is I don't want to mention the country. So, like, who is Joyce? Where is she from?
Okay. So, I'm Joyce, like I said. Actually, my first name is Busola, but most of my folks call me Joyce. And online, on my online presence, I'm known as Joyce Busola. That's like the brand name. But I'm a medical doctor. I completed medical school about 9 months ago. And now I'm doing my residency here in Moscow. Actually, I lived in the north of Russia, or I schooled and lived in the north of Russia for 7 years. Wow. And I just recently moved to Moscow.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm from Nigeria. I was born and bred in Lagos.
The capital city.
Yeah.
So you're the lady from the city.
I guess.
Town people. I thought you'd mention a city that is not known, but it's good you're from Lagos.
Yeah, I grew up I'm not from Lagos. I'm from Osun State, but I grew up in Lagos.
Wow, that's really amazing. So you have been in Russia for approximately how many years? 8?
Almost 8. So let's just say 7 years and a few months.
Wow. And what are some of the things that you have like been doing apart from your medical career? Because I have been seeing you've been doing a great job with your blogging.
Thank you.
It's really amazing.
Thank you.
So is that the only thing you've been doing, or is there anything else that you've been doing? What has been keeping you engaged?
Okay, I'm a girl of, let's say, many talents or many interests. Actually, I don't think you're talented in many things, but there are things you pick up along the way. So in my first year of medical school, I got into modeling. Growing up, I always wanted to model, but then my height is not the typical model height, but maybe I could pass with my stature. Okay, but then I had the opportunities, and one thing that always baffled me was the fact that Russian makeup artists, they just did not understand my skin tone. And it wasn't just my problem, it was the problem that many people had. And I had the opportunity to go back to Nigeria in summer 2016. And then I went for a profession. Actually, my parents insisted that, I learn a skill. Okay, my parents are very big on, regardless of what you're studying, just have extra skills. You don't know when they'll be needed. So I had the choice, should I learn makeup artistry, or because I also started making hair at the time for people. I just learned from YouTube. So I was thinking maybe I should probably pursue this, but I eventually pursued makeup artistry.
Wow.
And that basically developed my love for beauty, and it has also inspired what I'm currently doing right now. I'm a resident doctor in dermatovenerology. So it was basically a problem that I had and many other people had. I don't know, let's say I carried the burden to solve that. So I became a makeup artist. Over time, I also realized that there were issues with, there were issues with Black, women getting access to beauty products. So I started a makeup store as well, an online makeup store.
Wow.
And over time, I used to come to Moscow. I said I lived in the north, but I used to come to Moscow every other summer to do master classes for like women, okay? And over time, it just grew to become a thing. So let's say being into business led me into content creation. So I think I just follow the journey. Like I find something, the journey brings me somewhere.
And was it planned?
It wasn't planned. But I know that as a child, I was I was everywhere. I was in choir. I was in drama. I used to read the news in school. I did some choreography at some point. I've just always been that kid, that always wants to do something.
Do stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's a very important point you mentioned out why you said your parents were tough or hard on you to develop another skill of some sort. Now, it gives me, not only me, but many people have observed this. Like, Nigerians have typically, dominated a lot of fields, especially in Africa. We talk of music, we talk of fashion. We have seen Nigeria, even in leadership positions. Is it a concept of population, culture, or what do you are from Nigeria? You are the right person who's supposed to answer this question. So I'm curious.
Okay, I think there's an influence of different factors. Of course, I grew up from, my parents were educated, and my family, or the family, I grew up around people that were not just professionals, but also business people. I quickly learned as a kid that you can't just do one thing. I mean, we talk about different streams of income right now, right? And it's a Nigerian thing. An average Nigerian man or an average Nigerian person has multiple things that they are pursuing. I think another thing has to be a major thing has to be the structure of the country. Life in Lagos, the capital city where I grew up, where it provides a lot of opportunities, just like Moscow here, is also very difficult.
Wow.
When it comes to opportunities, you have to pursue it. So that's why you find someone that is a doctor in the day and, makeup artists in the evening. That's just an example that came to my mind. But you find that many people, they are teachers, but they are still, even if selling something to their peers. So I think it's just a cultural thing for us. Of course, the population, because Nigeria, as we all know, is the largest African country in the world. So our population is a lot. And then imagine a family of 12, a father, a mother, and 10 children, or maybe 5 children. Definitely you have to make ends meet. And many people grew up, in conditions where you are the breadwinner of the family. Even as a young child, you find, the stories that most people have. You grew up with 3 siblings. And your parents were not well to do. They had to make, to put things together. And you quickly had to grow up as well. Okay. I think it just has to do with like the culture. And it's just the nature of Nigerians. I don't know. Even when I came here, I realized that people from different or other African countries are not as dogged as we are. Nigerians are everywhere. You see us in entertainment. I mean, I've gone for events where they call it an African event, but then 70% of the people involved are Nigerians. Nigerians, I think I don't know, you always call it like maybe it's a spirit that we have. We just have that spirit of seeing the possible, even in the midst of impossibility. Nigerians are the ones dominating tech. You see Nigerians, even the Nigerians that are outside, immigrants in other countries, we are still the ones dominating different spaces, in education, in business, in entertainment. So to answer your question, I would say it's a thing of both. It's both culture and the population, because we are a lot. Even here in Moscow, I was shocked to just realize that Nigerians are everywhere. And it's the same thing when you talk about other Western countries as well. I was shocked when I realized that Nigerians, we have a lot of Nigerians, even in Zambia. Even in South, I know South Africa is a bit close to them, but Zambia, Kenya, there are a lot of Nigerians. Nigerians are everywhere.
Wow, that's really amazing. So, in short, you're saying the whole concept of dominance, there is a part of culture involved.
Of course.
There is a part of population involved.
Yeah. Many of us were not raised, or let's say the economy or the government. Let's not put it on the government, but the environment. That's what I was going to say. The environment in which you grew up, made us into who we are, or the people that we've turned out to be. You're in an environment where you see, let's say, our parents, they watch their parents farm and probably still sell food to send them to school, even though they were not educated. So then you have our parents that have turned out to be professionals, doctors, teachers, yet they have to, it's like a generational thing. I was speaking with a taxi driver that actually brought me here, and he was talking about how he's been in Russia for 40 years. Wow. And he was saying that he shot by then I was not conceived. I was like, yes. And then talked about how, you see, so they've been your grandparents, they passed on knowledge to your parents, and then it's the same thing he's doing to someone like me. He's older than me. Apparently, he even schooled in Ruden, where I'm schooling right now. I mean, it was just trying to show me like the hierarchy of life, you pass it on from generation to generation. So
Wow.
I think it applies here as well. It's the same thing.
Do you have like relatives here, or you're just like the only
yeah. My parents schooled when during the SSSR period, the USSR period. Yeah, so let's say I've always had ties with Russia, but I didn't think I was going to come here. But at the time I was even coming, I had a family friend in Arkhangelsk at the time, and here in Moscow as well. I have like, well, I wouldn't say close family, but relatives, or at least someone that knows someone that knows someone. Yeah. And I also have cousins, actually. I have cousins in the other cities as well.
So, like, the whole thing of you being here in Moscow, creating content, was it something that has been inspired by someone you have been seeing out there? Or it has just been, a dream, a personal passion that you have developed with time?
So like I said, I think it's very interesting when you learn to look at life from the lens of it's a journey, not just the end result. It's a journey, it's a process. And like I told you, I realized there was a problem. I tried to solve it. That problem, bettered something else, bettered a new passion, and that also led into something. So it's more like I've just been on the journey of life, just trusting God along the way. When I find something new that I'm willing to pursue, and then I go after it. Of course, there's also the influence of other people that you see, but I don't think it was a thing where I just sat down, okay, I think I would like to do this and do that and that. But no, I started this, I pursued it, saw where I fitted or where I could provide solutions. And definitely I've seen other people doing similar things, other people that have gone ahead of me, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks like something I would love to pursue.
So as you currently we have a lot of social media platforms. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Which amongst these is your favorite?
So I think I love YouTube. YouTube is like in a league of its own. It's just okay, let me give an example. I have not been on social media, I mean Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, for about a month now, even though that's like where I work. But YouTube is available, and I found solace in YouTube. What's the words? I love YouTube because it's a diverse platform. It gives you the opportunity to just meet. I'm sure Instagram gives us the same opportunity as well, but I think I just love the fact that you get more worth of content on YouTube. I'm not sure if that's just like a personal bias, maybe because I'm a YouTuber. I think another thing, YouTube as a creator, the fact that YouTube offers me more opportunities in terms of revenue. Probably that should be the answer, not any other thing. But I find that YouTube is less distracting. I can curate what I decide to spend my time on. So let me give an example. On Instagram, you just carry and start scrolling, but then on YouTube the content takes you longer time to consume, and as a result of that you are very selective in what. I don't just carry and start watching a 1 hour video. No, but with Instagram it's 1 second, just click on a picture and move on. And for me personally, I think when it comes to managing your mental health, managing your time, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter can be very distracting. You're just doing like your work and say, oh, let me just, and then 2 hours you're on Instagram, just scrolling. Like, it's so easy. I actually was watching a documentary about social media, Instagram, and how the people that created these apps, they had one reason in mind. They want us, the users, to be glued, because that's what makes money for them. And I'm forgetting the particular term, but there's an effect that they have used, which is like the scrolling effect. That is why Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything has to do with scrolling, and it has something to do with our brain, our psychology. It's kind of intertwined. I've forgotten the term yes that they coined for it, but it's basically what they want. They want us to be glued on our phones because that's what makes them money. Ads are going to pop up. You are going to go back and oh, I would like to get this girl wore this, you know. So there's just that effect. And I think with YouTube is managed because of the longer, you know,
watch time.
the watch time of
Wow.
content.
So has, like, for example, you have talked about, you mentioned a very interesting point of it affecting someone's mental health and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you are a creator, talking from a creator point of view. Has what you have been seeing on social media affected the kind of content you create?
Well, in the world of social media, or as a creator, it is important to create what your audience needs. And it means that you have to be on the lookout. What is a typical 20-year-old that is living in Russia looking for? And then I see another content on, maybe my $10 thrift haul, something like that. And it clicks, so yes, they'll be interested in something like this. So of course, like, it would affect the kind of content I'll create. Another thing is trending content, right? So for example, the situation going on in Russia and the fact that people are looking for information. They want to hear from people that are living here. Many people are looking for news sites. They don't want propaganda. They want to hear from individual news channel, right? Or individual media. So now I create a video about my life as a foreigner in Russia under sanctions, you know?
Wow.
Even though ideally I wouldn't create something like that. Ideally, I wouldn't want to involve myself in anything that has to do with maybe politics or economics. But because there is a need, you know, for more information on this trending topic right now, you know, it's more like you have to jump on it as well. Yeah, so I think that's like the effect of that.
So in short, you know, the most interesting part is people just feel of content creation as you get a camera, you start talking. But according to how you have put it, it's like you don't just need to create content. You need to understand what you're doing. Because you have mentioned the point of being open to what's happening.
Yeah.
Like current news or whatever is like going around the world, and you create content in line with that. So you have been creating content. You have talked about makeup.
Yeah.
How have you made sure, or what are you doing as a person to make sure that your content is relevant?
Okay, so let's put it this way. Like you said, being a content creator is not about getting a camera or a phone. Even though that's where most of us actually started. But along the way, we had to realize that it's deeper than that. So there is something that I realized, you know, many people think of things just from the surface. But there are layers into this. So let's take, for example, we are in a room right now. And this room has several doors. But then you just come into the entrance, right? And you're just sitting around. And later you realize, oh, there is another door. There is another door. There is another door. Meaning you picked up a camera or you saw someone creating a video on YouTube. You entered. And then you got into it and you realized, oh, you need to understand, why am I creating content? Who am I creating content for? What do I want to gain from the content that I'm creating? What effect do I want to have on the people? And it probably even goes bigger to, I want to lend my voice on something. I want to, you know, I want to be able to relate with people of this particular class. I want to have a community of my own. I want to be able to, you know, provide relevance in my craft through this platform. Then you realize it's more like holding the camera just ushers you like, oh yeah, now you're here. Now you have to learn editing. Now you have to learn how to even operate a camera. So I recently got my camera like a month ago. Before then, I've been using just a phone. And you know, aside the fact, maybe cost, aside from money, one major thing that was a struggle for me was I could not imagine myself using a camera. I had a laptop for over a year, but I never used it to edit videos. Because it was just, I think it was a mindset thing where I just could not imagine myself with these big gadgets, and just every time I see people, I never even bothered to check how they did it, but it was just like terrifying for me to even think about that. But right now that I learned how to with few tutorials, now I'm thinking of the next gadget, you know? So like that's how like the world of content creation kind of goes. It's beyond just creating content. So to answer the question on relevance, I think this now comes where we talk about niche, right? And audience. So these are the skills that I have. Or these are the things that I'm interested in. And I think I can give value. I think the key word is value. What value do you have to offer? What solutions can you prefer to what kind of problems? So I started YouTube doing beauty tutorials. I used to share, this is how you can build your kit for your personal makeup. And over time, I realized I'm a Nigerian. When I was coming to this country, there was YouTube, but I could not get information, right? So I went on YouTube. I'm like, no one is talking about how to come and school here. Or at least people that are talking about it are not people like me.
Yeah.
And I know people like me need this information. So I remember last year, 2021, I just decided that I'll share content about living in Russia. And I started just giving like details, how to come and study, how is Patfak, how is life here. This is what is the cost of living is like. And actually, even though I started creating content on something else, no one was paying attention to me until I started giving value on a particular topic that people needed solutions to. And that's what started creating the relevance for me. I received an award earlier this year in the category of the social media personality of the year. Last year I received an award as a video creator of the year. But many people didn't know I've been creating content before all of this. Right now I'm walking on the street and I meet someone from Cameroon telling me, I watched your YouTube videos, they helped me to come here.
Wow.
You know, and that person tells me, his brother is also coming.
Wow.
So I think that's relevance, right? Impact.
Yeah.
That's where, like, you know, understanding what do I want to lend my voice on. Right now, I'm a health professional, right? I'm a beauty professional. I can decide tomorrow to say, I want to share content about skin diseases for Black people. You know, okay, let me give an example. I am doing my residency, right? But I don't get to see Black skin in the clinic, right? I see majorly Russians and Caucasians and Asians and all of that. But that has stemmed a sort of curiosity in me.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like, how would it be to bring in Black skin diseases to the Russian community? You know, I understand that Black people are also living here as well. And many of them are with skin diseases. But because they feel dermatologists here would not understand their skin, they don't even bother, you know, something like that. So now that's a problem I'm trying to find a solution, you know, about. And then I decide to lend my voice about it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's how relevance starts. It just starts with picking a problem that you are willing to prefer a solution to, and you have the answers. So that's how someone can just come on YouTube and do how to make $10,000 in a month. Many times these people don't even make that amount of money, but they can do research and tell you this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's content. That's relevance.
Yeah.
That's basically, you have to have something that people are willing to listen to. Yeah, and will keep them coming.
So it's one important part. I just want to take you back a bit. You mentioned you picked up the camera. You didn't at first you didn't know the kind of content you'd be creating.
No.
But what can be your, like, for example, what would you say when someone says, no, I don't want to start YouTube? There are a lot of people on YouTube. Why should I start YouTube? There are a million people on YouTube. Yeah. What's the purpose of me starting YouTube? There are those kinds of people who will be like, there's no need. And what's, like, for you, what's your message? Would you say, no, don't start YouTube, or would you encourage someone to start YouTube?
I don't know why I'm laughing because I was once there where I felt like everyone's already creating content. But I think this takes me back to something we said earlier about hierarchy of life. You know, we have the older generation and then we have our generation currently. And the truth is, nobody, absolutely nobody can be like you. We don't, even if we have the same parents, we are siblings, our thought process will be different because our experiences are different as well. Even if we have gone to the same school, passed through the same teacher, the way we assimilate things, the way we see the world is very different.
Yeah.
That is why it is called YouTube. You. What do you have to offer?
I like that one.
Regardless of the topic. That's why we have, okay, I gave an example of how I was struggling with like using my laptop to record, or using to edit, and using my camera to record. 2 days back, I got this camera, but I've been operating on auto. I've never bothered to even learn the technicality of anything. But I was like, Joyce, if you have something in your hand and you don't maximize it, imagine you spend this amount of money on this camera and you don't maximize it to its fullest. You have been foolish about this purchase. If you are taking this as an investment, then you are not getting anything in return. So I picked up a few tutorials. But this person said this thing, and that person had something else to say. And I combined both knowledge to help me to operate this camera. So imagine if this other person said, there's already a tutorial about this camera. Why am I there? Somebody knows something that you don't know. Even if it's just one word.
Yeah.
Even if it's something similar. I also noticed that sometimes the delivery of a particular message is different.
Yeah.
Someone can come on this podcast, answer these same questions in a totally different way.
Very true.
And that's what makes it you. And that is why you should be there as well. You should be on YouTube. In fact, everyone should be creators. Why our lifestyle, our background, our upbringing is so different.
Yeah.
You see, I came to Russia. When I came to Russia, I've heard stories. And many of those stories are negative. There's nothing you can make out of being here in Russia. Russia has nothing to offer you as a black person. It's not good for you as an African person.
Yeah.
And here I am, 7 years later. I'm a doctor, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a beauty educator, I'm a content creator, I'm an entrepreneur, and the list continues. I serve on different platforms, and all this started from coming to this country that gave me some exposure that I could not get where I was. And even if I could have gotten that same experience or exposure where I was, it would be a different story now. But then there are still other people that have come here to say, it didn't work for me. I'm going back home.
Very true.
And that is life. And that is what we are coming to see. It's not about just... That's why you have favorites. You have your favorite lecturer. You have your favorite show. Your shows, they're all trying to entertain you, but one person will entertain you better than the other.
Wow.
You have your favorite comedian. They might crack the same joke, but you just like this person's aura.
Yeah.
You just like how this person talks. There are some times you would go on YouTube, I just want to find someone that talks like me.
Yeah.
I'm not an American. I was having a conversation with someone about how I really wish I could change my voice. As someone that is in front of the camera, sometimes when you listen to yourself, you kind of cringe, like, ooh, stop me, like, I thought I sounded cute or whatever, but that's not how I sound. And I've had to learn that you have to accept yourself for who you are, and that is what you're bringing to the table. You are enough. You are the value that you're bringing. I am doing dermatology right now in Russia. That's what makes me different from someone that is doing this in America right now. So imagine if I say, okay, there's already content about this. I'm not going to, put out content. No. Okay, I'm watching this American YouTuber and later realized that, he actually has an origin. He was born in Russia, but his parents migrated. And that is why he's in America today. But then there is a situation right now, and he can come back to use his very big platform of 9 million subscribers to share or to lend his voice on a topic that is happening right now. Who would have thought? That is so. The point is, you are the person. It is you we are coming for. What are you offering, regardless of the niche or the topic that you want to talk about? Somebody would be able to relate to you. I got a comment on my YouTube channel about a particular topic, and someone said, thank you so much for making this video. Yeah. You talked on some things that other YouTubers did not say. So even if it's just that one person that the video was for, it's enough.
It's enough.
And that's why you should be there.
Wow.
So that's why I think that's what I would say to someone that thinks I shouldn't be there because many people are there. Why are you studying medicine when we already have a lot of doctors? Why are you in university? Many people are in university already, so why? So you have to believe that you have something to offer, and that is you. Your experiences are valid. Your background is valid. Your thought process is valid. And many other people can learn from that. So it's just really important to be able to, I think it's an internal process first.
Yeah.
See yourself for who you are and the value you can offer. So regardless of what someone is being successful in something already, doesn't mean you cannot also be successful in it as well. So yeah, that's what I would say.
There's one important point that you have mentioned. You mentioned the aspect of, someone feeling like less of themselves. Maybe a content creator, feel less of themselves. No, someone has already made a video about this. But you are like, no, the message can be shared differently. Now, you as a content creator, how have you managed to maintain the balance of your self-esteem? Because you talked about your voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're speaking, you don't like the way your voice sounds.
Many times.
Yeah. How have you managed to maintain the tempo of trying to put out content out there despite, these kind of negative thoughts in your mind?
So like I said already, it's a huge job, Self-esteem is first an internal thing. Although it can be validated by, the comments that people say to you about something that you've put out. But first is an internal work. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as someone that is valuable or has value to offer? The reason why this is important is it's very easy to just focus on the result and forget about the process. And I think that's where comparison comes in. And that's what in turn leads to self-esteem issues. So I create a content, and it actually happened to me recently. I create a content that someone else, or other people have created, and they've been like massive views. But then the truth is, for my channel, I actually got increased views. But because it was not as much as what these other people were getting on their channel or were attracting on their channel, I felt like, what am I doing wrong? But I had to sit down with myself. Your video is valuable. That is one, because I know that what I put out was valuable.
Exactly.
But I also have to understand that the success of something is influenced by different factors. It could be the fact that I am of a different nationality, or I'm a foreigner in a particular country. So people will tend to listen to a citizen of that country than myself, than I'm a foreigner. Sometimes even your nationality gives you off on YouTube or on the content that you create. Someone would rather listen to someone abroad than you that you're in a different place. It happens. But my understanding of I'm not what I create.
Wow.
I am not the result of what I create. I am not those views or those amount of subscribers. I am Joyce. I am valuable. I am successful even before I create a video. That video is not what makes me successful. It's about the internal work that I have done. How am I seeing myself? It's just how they tell you are not your failure. It's so cliche, but it's the truth. When we learn to see ourselves beyond results, then we'll begin to create balance. So you see this self-esteem thing we are talking about, it can have a positive effect or a negative effect through social media. So you can watch a video on YouTube that helps you to become a better person in your craft, and that increases your self-esteem or your self-worth. And you can also watch a video that will make you feel less. But it still goes back to the fact that it's an internal work. Who are you? How do you see yourself? The fact that you failed at something, or the fact that this video did not do well, doesn't define you as a person. You are still that valuable person. How about you look at what you can learn? Even with failure, with even comparison, how about you look at what you can learn from maybe this other person's life instead of taking the negative? As an adult, it's your responsibility to manage your emotions. It's your responsibility to manage your thought process. What are you taking in? What are you affirming to yourself? What are you meditating on? Are you just staying on your failures and the numbers and some By the way, social media, most times, they are curated content. I sit down in my house, put lights, camera, settings, wear clothes, and come in front of you. Even when I'm doing vlogs, this is what I choose to show you.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that they also have bad days,
Yeah.
So if you're comparing yourself and allowing that to get to you to affect your self-esteem on the highlights, based on the highlights of people's life, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And like I said, the most important thing is to remember that it is your personal responsibility to manage your mind, your thoughts. They say self-awareness, self-acceptance. I feel like self-love as well also comes from this. So self-love comes from self-acceptance. Who do you see yourself as? I told you about my voice. But then I have to accept myself for who I am. This is my voice. I was born in Nigeria and I grew up in Nigeria. I grew up in Lagos. And I'm not in a country where I don't even speak English half the time. So except I go through some extra trainings before I can get my voice to sound like someone from America or a British person. It's going to take a lot of work. But I need to accept myself for who I am right now. And I'll create this content regardless of how I think or how I assume I should sound.
Wow.
So I think when it comes to self-esteem, it's just a personal responsibility. You have to be the person to say, this is who I am, and I accept myself for who I am as I go on this journey to become the best version of myself. So regardless of what this person is doing or what the other person is doing, I would take the lessons. Oh, this girl shared about 10 habits that is making her have the kind of life that she's having right now. Okay, I'll pick a habit. Not that I start comparing myself. See you're so lazy. See how hardworking she is. And no, all of that is just bringing yourself down. I even think comparison is also important because sometimes you can be in a bubble of your own world and you are not even improving. But sometimes it takes someone else's life to trigger you to, this is possible for me as well. And I can go for it. And sometimes it's like you are comparing yourself with people that you should be learning from. So when you look at people that have gone ahead of you, what lessons are you taking from them? You should say, okay, this is where I am right now. I would like to be there where he is or where she is. What can I take from her?
Yeah.
That should even make me excited to go on the journey. But then we are humans. We have those moments when you feel less of yourself. It's okay.
Yeah.
To accept emotions for what they are. I would say emotions are it's like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
You feel sad, but it's telling you something. You're unhappy about yourself. How about you work on yourself, not focusing on the fact that someone else has it better than you? And sometimes it's an illusion. You think they have it better than you, but you don't even know the problems they are dealing with.
Exactly.
Big things come with big problem. Okay, I was using a phone to record before, and now I have bigger problems because now I'm using a camera.
Yeah.
Now I have to get some other gadgets because and then you're seeing my video. You're seeing my videos on YouTube like, oh, she's doing so well. I want to be like her. But now I have bigger problems to deal with. Do you want my problems? When you want to compare yourself with people, ask yourself, do you want their problems too?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to learn to look at life, from the inside. Yeah.
Okay. Then I also want you to say something about the aspect of collaboration.
Okay.
Because I've seen you work with quite a number of people. One of those can be Masiliso and some other content creators. So what do you think has that impacted your creative aspect as a person? Because names pop up in different kinds of scenarios and different kind of ways. And one of the most interesting things, because we had a conversation, and I was like, who is one of the most outstanding people that is from Nigeria? And your name popped up. How has that affected you and your brand personally?
Yeah.
Because that's the person who mentioned, who are talking about you, are also people from Zambia. So has that been as a result of how have you managed to collaborate with other people or from other countries, and how has that affected your brand as Joyce?
Okay, so I'll always say collaboration over competition, any day, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Mercy. Mercy is my friend. Mercy, in terms of numbers, in terms of experience, she has gone way ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine me thinking like, oh, I want to, beat her to what? So there comes collaboration. It's an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I embrace collaboration. I don't even think I've done enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to doing more. Why? Because I realized that when I collaborate with people, you learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a recent collaboration with Mercy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a class for content creators.
Mm-hmm.
And that class was amazing.
Mm.
Mercy came with a wealth of knowledge. I came with my knowledge as well, with my experience, the platforms that I've used. And we were able to deliver more value to the people that came for that class. Because now it's two heads coming together.
Yeah.
Like they say, I don't know this African proverb, but you talk about how, a broom, how will you call it a broom? Is it a stash of broom or something? So there are different sticks coming together.
Yeah.
But when you use that bunch, a bunch of broom, when you use like a bunch to sweep, you get things done easily. But imagine just two sticks coming together, or just one. It gives you, less, what's the word? It doesn't give you as much effect.
Yeah.
Of course, there is room for individuality.
Mm.
There are times where there's some content I have to create. I know that, it should be just me. But then I also know, like, when it comes to collaboration, it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I have the opportunity to reach a wider audience, for example. People that already follow this person will get to know me. And people that follow me will get to know this person. I think it's very helpful for the ecosystem, the creator ecosystem. Because that way, we are learning from each other. We are providing more value. We are we are growing the industry even better.
Yeah.
So I would always choose collaboration over competition. I think there is so much to gain from collaborating with people. It's just like classwork. You know how we're in high school and then there is a classwork and you have like your group, your clique of people. And that way you can just rub minds together and it gives you better results. Why? Because there is an extent to what you know. Trust me, where you know is where someone else's knowledge begins. I mean, the extent to which you know is where someone else's knowledge begins.
Yeah.
So imagine I have about, let's say, 2,000 followers, and then I'm collaborating with someone that has about 1.8 million followers. Definitely, they've done something to get to where they are.
Yeah.
And they of course, sometimes when you look at just numbers, you might think, well, why am I collaborating with this person? She's small, But when you think beyond that, when you think beyond just numbers and you look at what can I learn from this person, I think we can always learn from each other, big or small. We can always learn from each other. There is always something that someone doesn't know.
Yeah.
That, you can always learn. Either they are bigger than you or they are smaller than you. So sometimes as creators, we might tend to even compare ourselves or compete. You're like, I want to also just take space as well. But I find that with collaborations, you are exchanging value, either numbers, either audience, either knowledge. You are exchanging value.
The moment someone understands this, I feel that's the more like the eureka moment of content creation.
Yeah.
Because many people want to compete.
Yeah.
I see you have a nice video. I want to ask, what camera do you use? Not because I like the camera, but I want to compete with you or buy something bigger than you.
Well, okay, when I listen to what you said right now, I think that should be allowed. Let me explain. I think it's about where is it coming from. For example, the fact that I got my camera was inspired by my friend that is also a YouTuber that got a similar camera. I saw the quality of her content. I'm like, this is so good. And then my friend keeps pushing me, you should get your camera as well.
Yeah.
But I told you I never wanted to get the camera because I'm just like,
yeah.
But when the opportunity came and I got it, I did because I was inspired by someone else. Now we have the same camera. But the truth is, like I said, it's still you. No matter how much, even if we are creating the same content, the same topic, it's still going to be different.
Yeah.
So I think that should be allowed. It's okay to learn from people. I think the problem now is if You are seeing it as you want to fight. No. Now I'm getting, why are you looking out for what this person has? That's the question. For me now, I saw the quality difference. I'm like, this would be good to have. And then now I have it.
Yeah.
And yes, I might seem like I'm on the same level with this person, but because I did not get it out of spite or competition, now our conversations are different. We cannot talk about the same camera settings. Say, oh, what camera settings do you use? I sent my friend recently, some tutorials on this camera that I saw online. And she's like, oh, she'll check it out as well. So now, that's like positive comparison, if there's anything like that.
Yeah.
Or inspiration from the fact that someone had something. So like I said, it's still an internal work, If you think that you're in a competition with people or that you are not enough and you need this to become this, then that's the problem.
Wow.
Oh, one thing I would like to add, many times we focus on the things you need to get to become something. When in essence, you need to become first to be able to have those things. I was listening to Jim Rohn. So Jim Rohn, I'm sure you know him.
Yeah.
I don't know, his words are just, every time when I listen to his videos, he says similar things. He always talks about how you attract success.
Yeah.
You attract success. It's who are you? Who are you? Are you that person that can attract what you want to be? Sometimes people say this thing, it's kind of cliche, but they say, who do you want to be like? Start acting like that person.
Yeah.
So what does this person's morning routine look like?
Yeah.
What does their night routine look like? Where do they go to? Who are they speaking with? Who are their friends? And then you basically become that person so that you can attract what you need. So this just goes back to the whole subject on collaboration, competition, self-esteem. It's all intertwined.
Yeah.
Who are you becoming? It will attract people to you. I mean, you said someone mentioned my name when you were thinking, who can we speak with about Nigeria on this? It's about who I am. It's not about anything. Probably the person has heard me speak before, or the person has observed my way of life, or just has seen my video on YouTube. I'm like, oh yeah, this girl, she has something that should offer. But the point is, before I got a professional camera, I was still confident in what I was doing. Yeah. When I was on 1 subscriber, I remember when my channel had 30 subscribers. Sometimes I still go back to that video I did. I was jumping in so much excitement,
Yeah.
So it's about who you are and accepting yourself for who you are. So regardless of the stage, where you are at whatever time, you are content in who you are while you are reaching for who you can be. So there is no point for comparison. No point for competition, except you are doing it in the positive light, except you are trying to maximize, the better part of it. Social media is just, right now I told you I'm not on Instagram, but YouTube has been a great resource to me. I'm getting more productive because now I consume more productivity content. I can go on YouTube and watch what a dermatologist has to say about this skin disease. There is so much to learn.
Yeah.
So it's dependent on you and the personal responsibility you are going to take. Am I going to focus on the negative, or am I going to maximize the positivity present?
Wow. That's really, really amazing. So someone out there might be wondering, how do I connect with Joyce? Someone might be inspired. I'm sure a lot, not just some, but a lot of people might be inspired by you.
Hopefully.
How do they get in touch with you? I want you to talk about your YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, everything, because someone might be there wondering how to reach out to you and get some content.
Okay, so I think one good thing that I have done in terms of personal branding is my name. It's Joyce Busola across all platforms. I don't know, I do this thing once in a while. I was in the metro yesterday and I just googled my name, and then I saw my blog. I have a blog, joycebusola.com. I saw my YouTube channel. I sometimes also do some stock photos, images. Yeah. So I also saw different platforms and websites that had used my image. But then everyone can easily give credit to, Joyce Busola. Yes. So even my old blog, my name is just Joyce Busola on all platforms. It doesn't change. Actually, these are the only names I have, like aside my surname, Joyce Busola. So that's my name across all platforms. On Instagram, it's Joyce Busola. On YouTube, it's Joyce Busola. On Facebook, it's Joyce Busola. My LinkedIn, I don't know. There's an issue with like LinkedIn working here in Russia, except to use VPN. So I've not really built that, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. I think it's just like a mindset thing as well. I'm like, what am I putting here? I'm just like, I only have 1 degree, but then definitely I've learned that, with LinkedIn, like it gives you access to professionals and stuff. So by the time I'm sure by the time you're seeing this podcast, I'm sure it would have been there as well. So Joyce Busola, LinkedIn. On Twitter as well, it's Joyce Busola. I have a Telegram channel, Joyce Busola. It's Joyce Busola everywhere. It's so easy to find me. And by the way, it's just a tip in personal branding. Make sure your name is accessible, like make sure it's something that people can easily remember. Sometimes I go on YouTube and Joyce Busola is actually a keyword right now. People just said Joyce Busola and they easily find my content.
Wow, that's really amazing. No, it has really been a pleasure to have you on board, and I look forward for us to have much more better discussions with time. I'm glad and delighted to have you on board.
Thank you so much.
Hope you enjoyed your time.
Of course I did.